from Studio 46, this is CBS 2 News This Morning.
Bracing for a winter wallop. A nor'easter is headed our way, and it could be the largest snowstorm we've seen in years.
Plow trucks ready to roll, but what about the outdoor dining structures, how the city plans to navigate around them?
And we could see widespread power outages from this winter storm, but have utility companies learned from their mistakes in the past?
How many times have we said that? Good morning on this Wednesday, December 16th. I'm Chris Wragge.
And I'm Natalie Duddridge, in for Mary Calvi. Welcome to CBS 2 News This Morning. We are on Storm Watch this morning with team coverage. Our John Diaz and Christina Fan are live with how the tri-state area is preparing for the snow.
But first, Elise Finch tracking the storm that will be here just hours from now. Elise.
Good morning to you, Chris and Natalie. Yes, so we are just hours away from the storm. Certainly in about 12 hours, we will be talking about snow on the ground in New York City. So let's go ahead and take a look. I want to show you right now, your SkyCast satellite radar is very quiet. This is how we start the day. So it's certainly cold out there. That's something that is part of the system, right? We need the cold air for this to be a primarily snow event. You see the moisture there. So what we're going to watch is area of low pressure intensify just off the mid-Atlantic coast. And then as it moves a little bit northeast, it is going to, of course, bring snow to our area from the southwest, moving northeast. So we're going to see some of our northeastern suburbs get the snow last. I want to show you the winter weather alerts because right now we have winter storm warnings pretty much for everyone in the tri-state area. The few exceptions are going to be coastal areas of Monmouth County and Ocean County, not included in that. This is what we are expecting. This is what prompted that winter storm warning. You can see New York City and surrounding areas are in a 5 to 10 inch band, but just north of that, we quickly jump from 10 to 15. Above that, we go 15 to 20 inches of snow. So your day part forecast looks like this. We're partly sunny once the sun comes up, so you do have some time to get things done. By noon, we're cold and breezy, but still dry, and it is this afternoon, starting at about 1, 2 o'clock, that we start to see the first flakes fall. We'll talk more about the timing, but with that, I'll send it back to you.
All right. Thank you, Elise. And preparations for the storm are well underway as cities and towns salt and sand the roadways.
Here in the city, plow drivers will be dealing with an obstacle they haven't encountered before. CBS's John Diaz joins us live from the Upper East Side with more. John?
Yeah, good morning, Chris. Good morning, Natalie. It is definitely the calm before the storm here this morning in New York City. The first snowstorm of the season here in New York City. Later on today, snow will fill the streets and the sidewalks here on the Upper East Side, as well as the entire tri-state area. But not many people actually will be out here on the streets in this city. That is because all outdoor dining must suspend by 2 p.m. This morning, the tri-state area is bracing for what's expected to be a major winter snowstorm, with leaders warning to take it seriously.
This could be the biggest storm in several years. Right now, we're getting a projection of between 8 inches and 12 inches. We know that could change.
Snow is nothing new to New York City, but during a pandemic, things have changed. For the first time, city sanitation plows must take into account all of the outdoor dining structures. But workers have been training for this and have the right equipment.
We do have holsters, which are just a small version of our salt spreader plows. We went out and did site inspections to look for roadway widths. And we've adjusted our routes so that we can have smaller pieces service the areas where it is tighter.
Restaurant owners will not be required to remove dining tents, but many are. Taking no chances, this Hell's Kitchen restaurant owner is clearing the way for plows and keeping his delivery staff on as long as it's safe.
And we'll close if we need to. It's not like I'm getting a ton of revenue that I need to stay open.
The mayor's office is asking New Yorkers to stay off the roads and rely on mass transit if they need to get around. But the MTA says it hopes people stay home. Trains and buses will operate as long as it's safe. Subways will still be shut down for cleaning between 1 and 5 a.m. and possibly longer.
Hopefully we're going to be able to open on time on Thursday morning, but that could be a moving target as well.
In New Jersey, crews are ready to roll out to battle the foot of snow that's expected. Bergen County alone will mobilize 80 plow trucks. The county's main complex in Paramus has 5,000 tons of salt.
So you salt in the beginning and you salt at the end. But when the snow's coming down at an inch, 2 or 3 inches an hour, you don't salt. You plow, you plow, you plow, you plow.
Thank you.
And a steady stream of customers have been busy buying the usual last-minute snowstorm supplies. Selling fast.
Mostly shovels, some snow blowers, obviously, some generators and batteries and flashlights, and a lot of ice melt.
At the Target in Paramus, long lines snaked around the store as pre-storm buying collided with the holiday shopping season, all in the middle of a pandemic.
It's really crazy in there.
And back here in New York City, restaurants were ordered to suspend their already limited indoor services due to rising coronavirus cases. So it does appear that many New Yorkers, most New Yorkers will have to ride out this storm inside their apartments with really no other place to go. But I'm sure most people are already used to that. We're live this morning from the Upper East Side. John Diaz, CBS 2 News.
All right, John, thank you. Well, hopefully people didn't have to stock up too much since we've been doing it for about 10 minutes now, right? Well, Mayor de Blasio says he will decide today if schools will stay open Thursday for in-person learning.
But if schools do close, students will not get a snow day. The mayor says all students will be expected to do remote learning.
Someone said to me the other day they felt kind of forlorn about the fact that it ends the snow day as we knew it as kids when we looked forward to a day off. Yes, it's true that's now going to be a thing of the past.
Other school districts in our area have also said the same thing about snow days.
Well, the snowstorm could bring widespread power outages across the area.
And this summer, millions lost power, some for weeks at a time after Hurricane Isaias. CBS 2's Christina Fan joins us live from Jersey City with more on how utility companies are preparing to prevent outages this time around. Christina?
Hey, Chris and Natalie, nearly every major utility faced scathing criticism over the summer for how they handled power outages in preparation for this oncoming storm. PSE&G in New Jersey says they have stockpiled poles as well as transformers. Families say given how cold it is right now, they do not want to experience days without power again. From New Jersey to Long Island, frustration in the days following Hurricane Isaias in August. Almost a third of customers in Nassau and Suffolk counties experienced down power lines, trees blocking roads, and no communication for more than a week from PSEG Long Island. This time around,
those issues are being worked on, and I am expecting them to respond effectively.
PSEG is facing legal action over its failed response in August and would not make anyone available for an interview about the impending storm today. A spokesperson said by email it is prepared. Also in the hot seat are the companies Orange and Rockland and Con Edison. New York State's utility regulator says both face potential penalties of more than $100 million for their response to Hurricane Isaias. Con Edison says for this storm, the company has 200 extra mutual aid crews ready.
You need to prepare ahead of time, make sure that you have mutual aid crews standing by and that everyone is ready for when the storm comes so that we can attack those outages as soon as they occur.
New Jersey also reviewed its utilities and found communication needs to be improved. We asked what PSE&G is preparing to do differently this time.
It's really important that we stay.
When it comes to change this time around, a spokesperson said,
it really all depends on the amount of damage that we see and the amount of infrastructure that's hurt.
Half of customers in Basking Ridge had been in the dark. The mayor is hopeful.
I've seen, we've noticeable amounts of tree trimming crews over the last couple of months.
In Connecticut, Eversource was accused of prioritizing power restoration over cleaning down wires and trees. For Wednesday, the utility says line and tree crews are pre-positioned around the state. Now, in addition to increasing manpower, PSE&G says they have already performed system checks on all critical equipment as well as infrastructure all across New Jersey. We're live from Jersey City this morning. Christina Fan, CBS 2 News.
Okay, Christina, thank you. And officials on Long Island are preparing for today's winter storm, including possible power outages there. Long Island's snow totals remain uncertain because of the potential for sleet mixing with snow, but the storm's powerful winds may knock down tree limbs and power lines.
We know that with a storm often comes downed power lines, especially with the winds that we're talking about. That is possible. More people are working from home. Maybe there'll be a few more with the storm.
For those of you who don't need to travel and can stay home, please do so. If you absolutely have to travel, we will be running enhanced weekend service.
Along with reduced service, LIRR says ongoing third-track work will be suspended. The railroad urges riders to check service status before heading out.
And Connecticut is bracing for as much as 12 to 18 inches of snow. Governor Lamont says the pandemic has taken a toll on the Department of Transportation, which handles preparation and storm cleanup. Still, he says the state is prepared.
The DOT is ready, 600 plus snow plows. 100 guys are out with COVID, Joe has told me, so we got the contractors ready to back up as well.
The governor is asking anyone who does not have to travel during the storm to stay home.
And stay with CBS 2 and CBS New York for updates on this winter storm. You can find a survival guide, live radar, and snowplow trackers on our website, cbsnewyork.com.
Turning to the pandemic, and another vaccine candidate is on the way. Yesterday, an FDA panel declared the Moderna vaccine safe and effective. Distribution could begin as soon as next week. And Tuesday also saw New Jersey begin vaccinations with the Pfizer vaccine. A nurse at University Hospital in Newark became the first person in the state to be vaccinated.
I won't have to be afraid to go into a room anymore. I won't have to be afraid to perform chest compressions.
We know that we are witnessing at least the beginning of the end.
The bulk of New Jersey residents won't be getting the vaccine until late spring. Yesterday, the FDA also approved the first over-the-counter coronavirus test that you can take home. You'll be able to buy that at a drugstore, swab your nose, and know in just 20 minutes if you're positive or not.
Well, top congressional leaders met last night to try to hammer out a deal on a COVID relief package. There's still no agreement, but negotiators struck an optimistic tone. Democrats and Republicans have been sparring over hundreds of billions of dollars in potential aid for Americans struggling during the pandemic. But one thing is a little more settled in Washington. The Senate's top Republican finally acknowledged Joe Biden's presidential win.
The Electoral College has spoken. So today I want to congratulate President-elect Joe Biden.
Called him to thank him for the congratulations. Told him, although we disagree on a lot of things, there's things we can work together on.
Mr. Biden spoke after a campaign trip to Georgia supporting the two Democratic Senate candidates taking part in the January runoffs. Yesterday, he also nominated two new cabinet members, Pete Buttigieg for Transportation Secretary and former Michigan Governor Jennifer Granholm to run the Energy Department.
Well, coming up, a family trying to spread holiday cheer gets targeted by a thief instead.
I just couldn't believe it 3 times.
Now their plea to the man who kept coming back for more. We'll have that story next.